Your dog has a favorite song. You just never thought to find out what it was. We play music in our homes, in our cars, in our earphones, and the whole time, every animal around us is hearing it too. The question nobody really stops to ask is, are they just tolerating it, or is something actually happening inside them? Because the answer, depending on the species, is either beautiful, strange, or deeply inconvenient for everything you thought you knew about music. The comfortable assumption is that music is a human thing. We invented it, we feel it. Animals hear sound, sure, but they don't experience music the way we do. That's what most people believe. And that belief started falling apart the moment researchers decided to actually test it. In the 1990s, a psychologist named Charles Snowden began studying cotton-top tamarins, tiny South American monkeys with dramatic white hair that makes them look permanently alarmed. He played them human music, classical, rock, lullabies. The tamarins were completely indifferent, not calmed, not agitated, just unbothered, the way you'd react to someone else's conversation in a coffee shop, which seemed to confirm the theory. Animals don't get music. Case closed. Except Snowden didn't stop there. He worked with a cellist named David T. to compose music specifically designed for tamarins. Not human music, music built around the frequency range, tempo, and emotional calls of the tamarins themselves. They played it for the monkeys, and the monkeys responded. Certain compositions calmed them, others made them visibly agitated. They were reacting, not to music in general, but to music that was in their language. The problem wasn't that animals can't feel music. The problem was that we kept playing them ours. That realization changed everything. Researchers started looking at elephants, and what they found was almost uncomfortable. Elephants in Thailand, near a sanctuary run by musician Paul Barton, were exposed to classical piano played live in the open air. Some elephants walked closer, some stopped moving entirely and stood still, ears forward, listening. One elephant in particular, blind, elderly, and usually restless, became noticeably calm during Beethoven. Whether that was the music or just the sound of something unfamiliar is debated, but the stillness was real. The attention was real. Cows, of all animals, gave researchers some of the clearest data. A study published in the journal Physiology and Behavior found that cows exposed to slow music, Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony, Simon and Garfunkel, produced more milk than cows exposed to fast, upbeat music or silence. Not slightly more, measurably more. Their bodies were responding to tempo. Slow music meant calm. Calm meant more milk. The cows weren't enjoying Beethoven the way a concert hall audience would, but something in the rhythm was reaching them. Birds are where the story gets genuinely strange. Songbirds don't just hear music, they produce it. And when researchers at MIT exposed zebra finches to different types of music, the birds showed measurable preferences. Certain songs reduced stress hormones, others raised them. More fascinating was what happened when they played white noise versus structured sound. Structured sound, with rhythm and pattern, consistently produced a different neurological response. The birds' brains weren't just processing sound, they were tracking pattern. And tracking pattern is closer to what we call listening than most people are comfortable admitting. Then there are dogs. A study published in the journal Physiology and Behavior found that dogs in shelters showed distinct behavioral responses to different genres of music. Classical music made them rest more. Heavy metal made them agitated and shake. Pop music had almost no effect. But here's a twist. After several days of the same classical music, the dogs habituated. They got bored. They stopped responding. When researchers introduced audiobooks, human voices telling stories, the dogs stayed engaged longer, which suggests dogs don't just want calm. They want something that feels like company. They want the sound of being not alone. There's a researcher named Charles Snowden, the same tamarin scientist, who eventually said something that reframed the entire conversation. He argued that music, at its core, is not about melody or instruments or culture. It's about emotional communication through sound. And every social animal on Earth already does that. Whales do it across hundreds of miles of ocean. Wolves do it across entire mountain ranges. Birds do it every single morning before the sun is fully up. Humans didn't invent emotional communication through sound, we just gave it a name and sold tickets. Which means music might not be a human invention at all. It might be something evolution kept arriving at over and over in different bodies, in different frequencies, in different forms. And what separates our concert halls from a whale song might be less about intelligence and more about the instrument we happen to be born with. Your dog doesn't love your playlist, but somewhere in all that sound, it's listening for something. The same thing it always listens for when you walk into a room. Evidence that everything is okay, that someone familiar is near. Maybe that's what music was always for.